Hello everyone, today we're going to go over the blind 75 in C++, and today we're working with sum of two integers. Now, before we get started, as always, we always need to ask ourselves these four questions: what the input's going to be, what data structure / algorithm / technique to use, what to do with the data, and finally what our output is going to be. So, going over the question, given two integers, a and b, return the sum of the two integers using the operators. Okay. And given the fact that we are doing a bitwise manipulation problem, we are going to do bitwise manipulation. And so what we are going to do with the data, with our given input, two integers, a and b. Now, this isn't the... I understand by what you mean. Oh yeah, we'll just return the sum of integer a, integer b accordingly. But if we were to do that, int sum is equal to 0, and then we initiated, for instance, a plus b, and then return sum. This is not what they're going to look for. Watch this. Actually, never mind. This actually works. Strangely enough, we can do that. Just kidding, I wish. Just a little humor to help you guys out during the whole time. But anyway, I'm just going to give you guys the steps over exactly what to do on this whole thing. So, steps to be able to go through on this. So, step one, what we need to do is that we need to initialize our two integers, and then we also need to initialize an unsigned integer. We're going to call this one carry. Then the third step of what we're going to do is that we are going to perform bitwise operations to calculate the sum. Step 4 is that while one of the numbers can be a or b, that we initialized doesn't equal 0. We calculate the sum by using the carry XOR binary operator. Then what we will do is that we're going to calculate the carry by using AND operator with left shifting. Next part, we're going to set the first integer to be the sum. Then we will set the second integer to be the carry. And finally, we will return the first integer. So to be able to go over the steps of what to do. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 on what to do. Step 1, we're going to initialize everything along with step 2 at the same time. So int num of 1 is going to be equal to a, just for clarity. Int num of 2 is going to be equal to b for clarity. Step 2, we're going to create an unsigned int called carry that we initialize as 0 to start with, and then we're going to perform bitwise operation to calculate the sum, where that's just going to be step 4 ultimately inside. In fact, just for clarity, I'm just going to make this entire thing 3, and then this one 4. So right here, so while we can pick either 2, but I prefer to stick with num2 doesn't equal 0, then what we will do for a, b, c, And D is that we are going to calculate the sum, which will be num of 1 root num of 2. And then what we'll do is that we're going to set carry equal to static cast unsigned int of num1 and num2, shifting it over to the left. Then for the next part for C, we're going to have num1 equal to sum, and then num2 is equal to static cast int for this carry. And finally, we will return our num1. So you can do the same thing, just keep it in order and such. So let's just run this to be sure this all flows together. And make sure that you have all your semicolons set up in place. All right, it passes all the test cases. Let me submit on this. And we have our solution. Let me just make sure the steps are already in line. Okay, so just to be able to give a rundown on our space and time complexity for our following solution. But prior to that, I want to showcase an example of code walkthrough to be able to help explain exactly the step-by-step process to showcase our solution. All right, so just to go over an example of our following solution that we have, if say for instance that we are inside of this main execution that we have over here, and if we were to have the values where 0 is equal to A and 1 is equal to B accordingly, and we're going to have each of these numbers following update. So we already know for a fact that with int A and int B, from what we got below, 0 and 1, we're going to keep moving. As you see, they update accordingly. Still going again between num2, B, and then we're going to have an unsigned int carry that we initialize. After I press next, it's going to appear. And then while in this loop, since we have num2 equal to 1, since it is B, what we're going to do is that we're going to add up the binary between 0 and 1 accordingly. Then, as we keep moving, it's still updating. Okay, we've updated our sum, which should be 1. Then we're going to have our carry really take in the binary sum that we already got, and it's going to transfer it to become an integer where it looks like it's just 0 when it's coming out. Then we update the following, and we make our sum num1 trying to return num1. Then we just keep going until we have num2 being 0. When it's 0, we finally return the sum total that we made for num1, where it should be 1 accordingly. And that's what we do. The sum is 1. We're actually going to have a space and time complexity of our solution being O of 1 and also O of 1 simultaneously, since 1, we're not using a data structure to store necessarily everything. We're only using variables to be able to scan through our numbers in particular. And since we're only just checking the bits of the following integers at the same time, and we're just using a constant amount of space. So therefore, both our space and time complexity is going to be O of 1. And so yes, this was a sum of 2 integers. Thanks again for taking time to watch this. If you found this helpful, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comment section. And as always, take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.